Amber Alert on Zara Baker will be canceled today, and the decision to focus this investigation from a missing child or abducted child will turn into a homicide investigation.
So no one has seen your daughter since 2:30 this morning?
No, like I said, we had all that drama last night, and me and my wife went back to bed. And my daughter's, I think, coming into puberty, so she's hitting that brooding stage. So we only see her when she comes out, when she wants something.
From a calm father reporting his daughter missing to an upset sheriff announcing Zara Baker is dead. What is wrong with this picture? Law enforcement more upset than the missing girl's father? Now, folks, you remember Zara Baker. She's a 10-year-old cancer survivor from North Carolina. Look at that face. By fighting cancer, she lost a limb, she lost her hearing, but you know what I love? She never lost her spirit. Well, today, when many suspected was finally confirmed, Zara's own stepmother admitted that she killed the little girl.
Do you now plead guilty to second-degree murder? Do you plead guilty to obstructing justice? Do you plead guilty to begging? Do you plead guilty to 4 counts of obtaining property by false pretense? Do you plead guilty to 2 counts of identity fraud? Are you in fact guilty of these things?
So maybe you say there's finally some justice for Zara Baker, but I want you to think back on this one. Do you remember how much that little girl suffered? Killed, dismembered, her body scattered all across North Carolina. Folks, it was heartbreaking. It was disgusting. Joining me now, HLN law enforcement analyst Mike Brooks. Also with me, Rad Berkey, a reporter from our affiliate WCNC. Now, Rad, tell us about today's plea deal, and if you can, tell us why this was second degree, because I think a lot of people are asking this question. Why is it only second degree? Because the max is 15 to 18 years in prison.
Here's what the district attorney says about this case. In the days and weeks immediately after Zara disappeared, they were clueless. They had nothing to go on. Then Elisa Baker, apparently feeling they might find something that would lead to her, comes forward and says, "I'll cooperate. I'll help you find her if you make a deal with me." And that's essentially what her lawyer won, was a reduction from first degree, which took the death penalty off the table, to second degree, which would have seen, as you mentioned, a maximum of 30 years behind bars. But then with the cooperation, it was reduced to what we got today.
Wow. Mike Brooks, did authorities make a deal too early? Should they have waited, investigated more, and then maybe we would see greater charges here? Because she admitted to doing this to this little girl.
I know, Ryan. And as you said in the lead-in, this little girl suffered. Look how much she suffered. She was suffering enough with her cancer. She'd already lost one limb, lost her hearing. Just such a beautiful little girl. And her mother dismembered her, scattered her pieces of her body all along different roads. And you know, and even her prosthetic leg, they just kind of threw that out. They found that. It was one of the first things they found. But there was a lot of time went by when we really didn't know. And you know, you saw Hickory Chief there, very emotional when it went from a missing persons case to a homicide case. But I tell you, she got one hell of a deal.
You know, Rad, what about the father in all this? We saw him earlier. There's been a lot of scrutiny around him. Is he facing any potential charges now? Are they still looking at him in this?
The only thing he might possibly have a problem with are some bad check charges, and also the Immigration and Customs Enforcement, I believe, still has a detainer on him because he's in the country illegally. But one thing I want to share with you that came out in court today, Hickory PD investigators saying that they had the hardest time believing that the father didn't know anything or play a role in it. And they said it was Elisa's lies that led them to finally understand, and her cell phone records, that as much as they wanted to believe it, Adam Baker had nothing to do with it.
And Mike Brooks, go ahead. Give you the final
thought. Ryan, Rad's absolutely right. Right from the very beginning, when we heard this whole story that I thought was fabricated about this fire outside their house and something else had happened and something was left on a note left on the windshield, and I'm saying to myself, oh, you must be kidding me. And, you know, he's right there during the 911 call. I thought he really had something to do with it. I'd still find it hard to believe he didn't.
All right, Rad Berkey, Mike Brooks, thank you so much. Such a tragedy that had to happen to that little girl. Now, Casey Anthony, folks, has to come up with almost $100,000. We're going to tell you why right after this break. We're following breaking news from Casey Anthony. All right, Judge Belvin Perry ruled that Casey must pay back some of those costs related to the investigation into the disappearance of her daughter, Kaylee. Now, folks, this is a big win for the defense because she won't have to pay back the entire $500,000 that the state of Florida was seeking. Let me give you the breakdown. Judge Belvin Perry determined that Casey must pay about $61,000 of the investigation costs incurred by Florida law enforcement. Also, she'll have to pay about $10,000 in the investigation costs to the Metropolitan Bureau of Investigation, the MBI. And then just under $26,000 to the Orange County Sheriff's Office. Remember, they asked for about $250,000. They got 1/10 of that. And get this, $50 to the Office of the State Attorney. That's it, $50. And Casey's going to be paying back $97,666. Don't forget that 98 cents. All right, Tanya Acker's back with me. She's an attorney. Tanya, what do you think of this? I got to think it's a big blow for the state of Florida.
It's a huge blow. I mean, she got a great deal. You have to remember, Ryan, that every time a law enforcement official is diverted from, has to respond to a fake call, a manufactured crisis, sent on some crazy wild goose chase, that official is diverted from doing the things that he or she is being paid for by the taxpayers to do. And so all the time that these folks spent going down these leads that Casey Anthony was sending them on is time that the state really wasted, the time